Oil black broker we back oh Guyana.
Oil black broker we back oh.
Oil black broker we back oh Guyana.
Oil black broker we back.
It's where we leaders who represent, like all of them gone silent, silent, silent. Guyana, Guyana. This is a hijack. This is a hijack. Highway robbery. Highway robbery. Two-wheel blocks. Two-wheel blocks. Oil black, a heavy load. Oil black, a heavy load. Oil black broker we back oh Guyana.
Oil black broker we back oh.
Oil black broker we back oh Guyana. Kaieteur and Kanji blacks they give.
The third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.
A pleasant good night to everyone who is listening to us on the radio and joining us on the Facebook Live tonight. You are listening to the Glenn Lall Show by the publisher of Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lall himself. I am Kemol King, your moderator for tonight's proceedings. And every week when you join us, we talk about the management of your resources by the government. Last Monday, we kicked off the conversation for the year, delving into local content. So today, the publisher will expound a little more on that discussion, and then we're going to talk about the depletion policy with regards to the oil and gas sector. So Mr. Lall, good night, and over to you.
Good night to you guys. Good evening, Guyana. What is happening here in this country with our oil? It is worse than kick down door bandits. It is worse than a highway robbery. I have said some time back that Guyana is like an abused wife shackled by our oil contracts. I want to change that. Guyana is like a rich woman being abused by our wealthy resources of this land. Kemol, I am curious, and I want to ask you this question about a thief. How do one become a thief? What's your understanding of a thief? How people become thieves?
I'd assume they have a poor upbringing, or that they don't have. They're brought up in a world of poverty. And so they resort to stealing so that they can provide for themselves.
Well, I'm glad I asked you that. My understanding many years ago about a thief, I read a little book in which they describe a thief. A thief may come from a good family, having law-abiding brothers and sisters, but his own desire for what money can buy makes him into a thief. See, you hear that? That's my understanding of a thief. His own desire for what money can buy makes him into a thief. Anyway, this is not the topic tonight. The topic tonight is local content and depletion policy. Monday night, as you guys remember, we discussed local content policy That thing is so large, I missed out on some very important issues that I want to fill you in before I jumped into tonight's program on what is a depletion policy, what it means in dollars. I said without a proper local content policy, we can lose half of Guyana. Without a depletion plan, a depletion policy, we can lose 3/4 of Guyana. Let me remind you guys, local content is not about jobs. Local content policy or plan is about what locals should and must get. That plan should spell out clearly as to what we are entitled to. The plan should say no foreigners must come here and own hotels and make us into workers. We, the locals, should be the owners of those hotels. That plan should also say no foreigners should own supply centers and make us workers. No foreigners must be allowed to own, much less doing business here without paying their fair share of tax. Just as equal, like me and you. Our leaders should not be making us the cleaners and sweepers in the supply chain in the oil sectors. We, me and you, brothers and sisters, locals, should be the owners of all those businesses. You understand clearly what I mean. We should not settle for the cleaning job or painting work for a few Guyana dollars. We should be the owners so we can collect the real cash in US dollars. You hear me, leaders? That is real local content, which y'all can't put in place 5 years now. What a shame on all of you. Can't see, don't have a vision, no proper understanding what our resources mean to the people of this country. Leaders, are you hearing me? Not the foreign people owning and collecting in the billions, while locals collecting a few Guyana dollars in wages. No, we should be owners so that we can collect the billions in our pockets and pay our people a decent paycheck. I said without a proper local content policy, we will lose half of Guyana. Without a depletion policy, that plan in place, we will lose 3/4 of Guyana. That's how important these things are. Let me turn to depletion policy. I have spoken to many persons about a depletion policy for Guyana. The explanations I get from some of them, I am convinced that not many people, including our leaders, really understands the true meaning of these two words, depletion policy. So here tonight, brothers and sisters, I am more than happy to share with you my understanding and what I have learned about depletion policy. A depletion policy can make you or it can break you. It can give you a great life and many future generations, or it can make you into a beggar now and also make our future generations into beggars too. A depletion policy, guys, puts you in control of your wealth, not them, not foreign people. You must be in control of your oil. You must be in control of your gold or your diamond, your bauxite, every single assets. You must approve all spending. You must know what and how much money each project costs, especially in the oil industry. You must okay or authorize every cent these people spend on every single well out there. A proper depletion policy or a plan is also about the speed at which you bring up your oil. You have to take into consideration the cost every well comes with and the price of the oil at the time. It must give you the authority to have a say in how you develop and how much speed you develop each well. Like Liza 1, Liza 2, Payara. You must be able to cut costs to make profits in every single way. We should not be collecting bills we had no say in. Let me ask this, Kemol. Any project you embark on, you must and should have a plan. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Good. And who should be in control of that plan?
You should.
That's right. Not the strangers. Them have to work with your plan. It's your project. It's your wealth. And you have to tell them what you want in that plan. You should have the say how you want them to bring up our oil. Meaning what method, what type of equipment you use so we can cut costs to make maximum profits. Let me share an example. You have a couple mango tree in your yard and you can't climb to pick it. So you find a man who can pick it and share the profits 50-50. Of course, you got to take out the expenses. The first thing you will do is to have a plan. A plan as to how he will pick the mangoes. How much mangoes he will pick per day or per week. What you will do when the market price go down or it goes up. In that plan, you must also include who will pay for the cleaning up and fixing back of your land, among many other things. Let me deal with these things one by one so I don't confuse you guys. What method used? Would you allow the man to bring 3 boom trucks? You know them boom truck that got a lift? That cost $50 million to pick the mangoes? Or would you tell him to go get 3 ladders from Gafour that cost $30,000? Of course, the ladders. If you allow the man to bring the 3 boom truck, the price he put on it, all the mangoes, listen to me carefully, all the mangoes will done and you ain't gonna done pay for the boom trucks that he bring there. It means the mangoes, your mangoes will be working for that guy alone and his boom trucks. And you will be left for suck your neighbor lime instead you mangoes. But if you take control with your policy, your plan, the man has to work with. He will have to work with what you say, what you want. You can say, guy, go and bring 3 ladders and tell me the cost before you buy it so I can approve the price. And as you pick out the mangoes, we will move the ladders to the rest of the trees. Yes, that's the way any smart businessman will operate, so that you can really get something proper in terms of money from your fruit trees. It is the other way around with ExxonMobil and the oil players. It is the complete opposite way. And our leaders is going along with that. Them allow Exxon Mobile to spend 20 billion US dollar on 3 rigs, 3 FPSO, the floating ship, to store the oil as it come up from Liza 1, Liza 2, and Liza 3, which is Payara, in which we had no say. We just accept 18 billion US on that 3 wells like idiots. Let me say this. Both coalition and this government accepts all those bills without a word. Which fool you know would do such a thing? Yes. Granger accepted Liza 1 and Liza 2 for 9 billion US dollars. And these are a set of fools in the PPP accepted 9 billion from Payara, the 3rd well. As a matter of fact, when the media and international experts question them how they can accept those costs without checking or authorizing it, for take little shame out from their face, guess what I do? Them hire a Canadian woman who never review or check any well project before to come and review and check ours. You hear me, guys? We hire somebody who never do anything in that field, and we hire them. We hire her, pay her to check our bills. Reviewing such a large and difficult project takes over a year with proper experts to review and give you the right findings. This woman takes 6 weeks and say all the spending is good, it's okay. Guyana, man, go ahead and pay. Accept it. This is like hiring a teacher, a young teacher, to go and review the 15-story building what Barrel putting up there at the Pegasus. You put in a teacher, school teacher, to go review a 15-story building, whatever the man building. The teacher go there in 10 minutes, and she come back and she say, you know what, Mr. Barrel, you can pay. Everything is okay. She doesn't review the 15-story in 10 minutes. Yeah. This is what is happening in this land. I'm getting so tired with this thing. I am getting so tired. Guyana, you guys really see what's happening in this land? When them done with us, from that 3 well, we would be holding a begging bowl in foreign lands for food. Yes. It ain't done there yet. This story now start, guys. Them going to spend another set of billions on every well. Another set of well. You hear that? And yet we don't have a depletion policy in place to dictate and to have a say. We have nothing in place yet. This country needs God now like never before. I think we need the imams, the pandits, and the pastors to go down on their knees and pray for our politicians. They need prayers on their souls. Yes, I do believe that. The things I've learned in the oil sector for the last few years, and watch how our leaders handling our business. Gosh, let me tell you this. Let me share this little story with you. I have smoked ganja one time. Only once. One time in my life, many, many moons ago. But, like I want to smoke cocaine and heroin every moment of the day, listening to these idiots and fools running the affairs of this country. Guyana, if you continue like this, it means our oil will be working just to pay for those inflated rigs and FPSOs out there. And we would be left with little or nothing to suck in terms of profits. Yes, lack of a depletion policy, a plan, gives the oil companies the say as to how they spend, how much them spend, where them spend, and on what they spend. And we, Guyana, have no say. Who does business like this, man? Anybody know? Sir? No?
Not even food does business.
That's my point. Let me move to another aspect of how we can lose more without that plan in place. Who should be in control of bringing up the oil? Brothers and sisters, who should be? You. Yes, me and you, not the oil players. We should be the one to decide how much oil we bring up and how fast we bring it up. Yes, Guyana should be in control. Let me explain. If the price of oil is low, you must be the one to tell the oil company, slow down, guys. Slow down. Relax. Just bring up a little bit so we can eat and take care of the expenses so the operations can go on. You must be the one to direct the show, not the oil companies. Remember, they are here to make money, and money as quickly as possible. Especially, listen to me carefully, especially how them get our oil for free. Them don't care about price. Them want to grab up and store it for when the price is right. Then make the killing. You think they care about our pockets? No. They will hand you the low price money and you just have to shut up and take it. Why? Because you have no depletion plan in place that gives us the say as to, hey guys, hold your horses. Price is down. You can't empty the basin for nothing. We must make money. So we just don't have to take 2 cents. That's where Guyana finds itself now as I speak, brothers and sisters. They are in a rush to clean it up and leave the 2 cents with you. Well, let me tell you guys, that 2 cents will not be able even be enough to pay for them $18 billion rigs. Imagine after 5 years of oil discovery. After 5 years of oil discovery, we're not hearing anything about a depletion policy, a local content policy that can wipe out Guyana. Jesus, Lord. Ooh. You may want to ask why they are in a rush to empty the basin. Well, let me ask you this simple thing. Let me say this thing to you. If I give you a full drum of honey to sell, and you getting $99, and me getting $1 on every pint, and you know that I can change that deal in a month's time, what would you do, Kemol? Especially if you have drums home that can store the honey. Would you empty it all before the month is up? Of course you'll do that. I'll empty it. I want to store it. Because I'm getting $99 on every pint and you getting $1. So I want to, me don't want you to change nothing. You hear me? I don't want you change the contract. So let me empty the drum and store it. You understand? So I can make money. Well, that is the same speed Exxon going with our oil. Price or no price, them grabbing up as much as possible and store it. Man, I would have probably, if I was in Exxon's shoe, I'd probably do the same thing. like them. After all, I get in the oil for free. And I ain't waiting for 4 years or 2 years or any next production license I want that you hold me and say, hey, let's renegotiate. No, I want to empty as quickly as possible. Right? So, I think I've covered quite a bit on depletion policy and relinquishment clause. I don't want to touch that, but it's the same relinquishment policy we can use in our gold and in our diamond and our bauxite contracts. If we don't have them clause in place to protect us, the people just cleaning up, wiping up, and galang. Okay? So, I can take some questions. From you.
All right, now before we go into questions, let me just remind the viewers and the listeners of the numbers that you can contact us on. We are taking calls tonight on 226-7453. I'll repeat that slowly. You can call us on 226-7453, or you can send me a text message or WhatsApp on 622-2222. That's 622-2222. I am also monitoring our Facebook Live on Kaieteur Radio. You can make your comments and your questions there, and I will address them to the publisher. So let me just repeat the number for calls, 226-7453. We already have some questions that have come in, so I'm going to pose them to
Kemol,
Mr.
can you
Lall.
just hold a second? I just want to add
Sure.
something. I came in this radio station with 3 newspapers. And yesterday's newspaper, rice earnings top 51 billion. Rice earnings tops 51 billion. That's 250 million US dollars. Rice bring in. You hear that, Kemol? And last year, we got 185 million from our oil. So it's like it's better to plant rice than to give away the oil. Because if rice is bringing in, and this is not me saying so, look at the newspaper. This is the headline of the Guyana Chronicle. You understand? So I am convinced that these guys doesn't know what's happening in this land. If rice, you will get this. Look. Another one. Premier Insurance Company Inc. enters market. This is today's. Company capable of insuring an oil rig plans to offer wide range of service. Is everybody coming in now? They come to insure. They come for your oil money. So instead of 185, that might decrease. The more people come, is more depletion of your oil wealth. Is everybody know Guyana now? You think they're coming to insure anybody? They're coming for your damn money. And hold on, the oil money may not be enough. They will end up into your gold and your rice and your timber money. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, Kemol.
All right, folks. I already see your questions coming in. But before we go to that segment, we're just going to take a brief 1-minute break, and we'll be right back. Hi folks, we are back on the Glenn Lall Show with the publisher of Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lall himself. I am your moderator, Kemol King, and we are back here to go into a question and answer segment with the boss. However, he'd just like to make another presentation before we begin.
It's just another observation. Today's Kaieteur News, Jagdeo laments liberal tax regime in Stabroek Agreement, but makes no comment to fix it. You see, this guy understand that Guyana made a terrible mistake in granting tax waivers to ExxonMobil. He been complaining about that in the opposition, while they were in the opposition. But just like the local content policy never come into place, a depletion policy or plan can't come into place, he now saying that, hey, we accept, it was a terrible thing. It's a bad decision we make by giving away Exxon all these tax breaks. But yet, until now, they are not saying that, hey, we will fix that, we could correct that so that Guyana can benefit. All you're hearing, we just agreeing and accepting, but the real policies and plans to put in place to fix these things, they're not. So it makes you want to think, makes you wonder whose interest these people working in. Is the Guyanese people? You can go ahead.
All right, now. The first question that we have from someone who texted us is, how much are we losing, Mr. Lall?
In
revenue.
In revenue, in the first 3 well, right? I am positive that they did not spend half of that money. They say they spent 18 billion. I believe in my heart that they didn't spend 9, because, and guess what? We are asking them for the breakdown. They're just handing you bills. You tell us, give us the breakdown, and they're not giving you that. They just tell you, hey, 3.5 billion we spend on this on Lisa 1, 4.4 on Lisa 2. No, you gotta give us the breakdown, bro. We are losing out big time on these projects. And the person who asked the question need to understand, Kemol, that when we're talking about billions in US dollars, this thing is not penny. You gotta equate that to what you would be getting per year. You know, a senior government man tell me that when they are at full speed with all the wells, Guyana will be bringing in 1 billion US a year. You hear that? So imagine if you get knocked 9 billion US per 3 well. You're talking about 9 years of Guyana's oil. If the 1 billion is correct, I don't believe it's correct. I believe you wouldn't get half of a billion. But let's go with what the senior official, I could call his name, but I don't want to. But I just go in with what he said. 1 billion, let's live with that. So if you get knocked $9 billion on 3 well, imagine you got 18 more. And if you get knocked another 30 billion, you're talking about, you got $1 billion a year, you'd have a 30-year oil money you lose there.
What influences you to say that the 18.5 billion ExxonMobil claims the developments will cost, that it's not that much that they'll have to spend on Lisa 1, Lisa 2, and Payara?
Yes, all right. That's a very nice question. Kemol, the track record of these oil companies speaks not volume, talks about skullduggery and scampishness and inflation beyond. They have inflated countries' costs that left them broke, that left them in debt. So I don't have to, and when they don't want to come clean and tell you, well, here, I buy this, I spend this, I do this, man, it's very open for one to conclude that scampishness and skullduggery is at its best here right now. Let me add a little piece to that. The bills that they will be throwing at us, if they do throw the bills at us, we cannot check it. You can't verify it. Because we carried all these stories before, Kemol. They are doing business with people, with countries that just do not divulge information to other nations. So if they buy pipes out of New Zealand, and they buy 10,000 length of pipes, and Guyana, and they hand you a bill for whatever, $2 billion US. You can't go ask New Zealand anything. You just have to accept that bill, because New Zealand will tell you plain, we didn't do business with Guyana. We do business with ExxonMobil. Go ask them. So this is why I'm telling you, not even out of the 80, not even 9. I would say they didn't even spend 4. So we are talking about almost 14 billion inflation we're talking about, or scampishness and skullduggery. I'm not saying who gotten and who get a piece or who get a Sutton. I'm not saying. I know Sutton pass all over. You know what Sutton, right? Sutton.
I
All
don't.
right, you don't know. Good. All right, leave it as you don't know. Once the Guyanese people understand what's Sutton, me happy with that. And I'm glad you don't understand what's a Sutton.
All right, now, one other individual wants to know. Carl Greenwich seems to be rolling with the PPP now. Is that a good sign for Guyana?
Carl Greenwich. I like that question. I like that question. I like the person. The person got a good sense of humor. You know, Carl Greenwich, if you remember, he was the main man. He was the main man with Exxon. As a matter of fact, I could give you several stories on Carl Greenwich. He was livid. This man was, and I think he still is, extremely upset that Kaieteur News is reporting on oil in this country. Kaieteur News is reporting on ExxonMobil and the oil industry. This man, like, he don't want nobody say anything about this. You mustn't say nothing. Guyana's oil, what the world talking about, he doesn't want you to say nothing. Extremely upset. You know, does that tell you a story? Which bed he's lying in? Whose interest he's looking out for? Yeah. And guess what? Now he move and jump in bed with the PPP. Man, just do the maths for me, please. Do the maths. This thing called for little maths. Me can't do maths. I was at the bright, but this kind of maths, I can't do it. You think about why I just tell you that. As a matter of fact, Jan Mangal said that he played a key role, very key role. He was in the oil sector during the coalition in power, and he said clearly that Carl Greenwich is one of them who didn't want the contract to go in the open. So what that tells you? Why I'll have to hide? Why you don't want the people know? Whose interest you working in? That's about it I'll say about him. You know, let me add a little piece. You talk about him?
Yes.
Look, Vincent Adams, right? That the PPP sent home. They send the man on leave, then they take the man back on to now. That man should have been working with the PPP there now. He is the man who was responsible for getting full insurance, unlimited insurance on Payara project. You know we don't have full insurance on Lisa 1 and Lisa 2. But he told them plain, I said, no, you can't do that. A spill come in this country and mess up the whole region and Guyana, who's paying? No, you got to come with a proper insurance. And he and I think we had a little chat. He said they were very upset with him. And he said, no, once I'm sitting here as a boss, Guyana should be protected at all costs. Right? When you hear people when you see man do things like that, you should keep people like them around you. But guess what? You kick the man. You don't want that man there. Look, the PPP also has young Ramson.
Yes.
Young Ramson studied oil and gas. And he is in the PPP. He is a minister, but minister for sports. They moved the man. They put a man who's qualified in oil and gas and put him for kickball and play rounders. And they take a teacher, one over computer. A school teacher. One over computer. And make the man minister of oil and gas. Here's what kind of crap going on in this land. You guys understand what's playing out here? Yeah.
There is a comment from a person. They said, I listen to all your programs. I make sure I get the broadcast if I do miss it. I want to congratulate you and your staff for this initiative. You're right, all you have said, but the leaders are silent, and we see that. But the picture you're painting is very scary because you're actually telling us that there is nothing for us in the oil sector. And that's frightening to hear. Aren't you afraid for your safety, Mr. Lall, and that your exposure will make politicians want to hurt you?
Thank you for those, for your kind sentiments. Being afraid, the life I have lived, the things that I have passed through, the dilemma I have faced throughout my lifetime. They came, they killed my workers, they threw grenade, they bombed my place, they came in here looking for me. The amount of threats I have gotten, the horrendous stuff that I went through during my lifetime, I have grown to overcome fear. I have no fear in me whatsoever. The only person, I wouldn't say person, the only being I am afraid of is the Supreme Being. I have no fear of human beings. I can walk this world and I walk this earth without any fear of mankind. And Kemol, that is because of my belief, the things that I've went through and what I've grown to understand and how much I believe in this life. I believe that the man above is in total command and in control of our lives. I believe, excuse me, that he sent each and every one of us on earth here for a specific reason, a purpose. And when you understand life that way, you can have no fear because you are, excuse me, you are, like I am, just fulfilling our purpose. And if the man says, Glenn Lall, your time is tomorrow, I got to go back to him, then so be it. I have no control over that. You understand? So when you understand life that way, you can live fearlessly and you walk the world smiling. Because only that man above can harm you, can protect you, can guide you, and could make you stay on earth. I hope I answer that.
One commenter asks, could you elaborate a little more on the Payara project approval, what it means for Guyana, and what Guyana has lost out on?
The approval for Guyana, I talked about it, is that we were given a $9 billion US bill for that, in which we hire a school teacher, the Canadian woman, to review it, to check it. It's like only a moron would do something like that. So how much more can I elaborate on Kemol? You paying $10 million for a $2 million car. You understand? And you hire a man who ain't know what even a bicycle for go check. Go see, did Glenn pay $10 million for the car? And the man come back and tell you, yes, Kemol, he paid $10 million for the car. You have to pay that. You have to pay that. But had you gotten the right individual to go on the car store and say, come BM suit. How much for this Toyota? $3 million. How much for the Mercedes Benz? And he tell you a different price. Then he can come back and say, Kemol, that $10 million that the man tell you spend for the car is only $3 million he spent. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically we are getting robbed. This is daylight robbery in front of our face. And our leaders are so proud. They are so happy to say, well, we are moving ahead. Moving ahead with what? You know, like I asked this question Monday night. We get 185 million. How much money them get? If we get less than 2% in profit and royalty, then, and we get 185, how much trillion them chapters get? We need to know. Somebody need to explain to us how much was the expenses, how much transport. We need to know. Yeah.
All right, we have a guest in the office with us, which would also like to ask Mr. Lall some questions. So just state your name first, and then let's continue.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bernard Singh. After listening to you, Glenn, we have been robbed in every conceivable way by the oil companies. Why aren't our leaders putting policies in place to protect us from being robbed?
Why are our leaders
Aren't putting policies in place to protect us from being robbed?
You know, that's a tough question. That's a very tough question. I have the answer, but maybe I don't want to give an answer in which I get a lawsuit. You know, because I don't able to run to the courts every day. But let me say it this way. Let me answer it this way. Why they're not putting policies in place to prevent and protect us? You have 3 girl children in a house, and every night a man they know jumping in the house, rape them all, abuse them all, and left. And they complain to the father and say, Daddy, Mr. So coming in we house every night and beating we and robbing we. And the children identify the man. And the daddy ain't doing anything. The daddy ain't putting on a grill door on the back door or the grill on the window to prevent the man from going to abuse and to rape the children. He's not doing anything. The man is not even paying heed to the children's complaint. What conclusion can you come up to with? I can only conclude that the man is sleeping with him too. He's in bed. What else can I say? Because if you can't protect your children, if you can't put a grill door at the back where the man come in, or when the man lift up the back window, put a grill there to prevent and to protect your children, then it bothers your mind as to what kind of father you have. You know, he's supposed to be the protector. The same thing I say, what kind of leaders we have? They know that they should have, a depletion policy is so important. Local content policy is so much. A ring fencing policy needs there. An audit team to audit these things. All these things to safeguard and protect Guyana. And these morons not talking like if, well, it's nothing. You know, it angers you. It wants you to go beyond this. Your father not protecting your children, then something is wrong.
Do you think they're learning from all leaders in the countries, African countries like Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, Sudan, where the leaders just join with the corporations and rob the people of the country?
Well, that's
They have examples.
You know, leaders in many oil nations, right, have succumbed to corruption and with their oil players and robbed the entire nation. This newspaper, from the moment they find oil, if you go back every day, we wrote and explain what oil companies do to nations, how they left them. Okay? And I thought during that time, we were educating this nation and alerting the leaders as to what we know and what we will be looking out for. Lo and behold, 5 years later, we are actually seeing the same games that has played out in these countries is playing out here with these guys. And all of them. Because their silence, not doing anything, is telling a greater and deeper story about what's taking place.
They're playing us as fools.
Exactly. And the nation is just sitting down. Well, I can't blame the nation so much, because if the people of this country doesn't know, right? Because of course newspaper, how many people can read and understand? But at least I'm happy that I'm here and we can talk about this thing, very frank, in open discussions, so you guys can learn. And I want you guys to speak up too, man. As you learn every day, let's talk about it, so we can correct these things. We should not allow them to get away with these things, bro. Brothers and sisters, no, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Nations suffer. Many nations across this world. Many of them. I can call a name like bang. They are starving. They are starving. And they are starving because of their leaders. Their leaders messed them up. Yes, sir. Any question?
One commenter wants to know, where should we be right now? How do you envision the management of the sector in an ideal situation?
This sector now?
The oil sector, yes, Guyana's.
The oil sector can only be directed or commanded or run in a manner in which your leaders want it to go. They have to put together this proper team, not Mark Bino they had. Mark Bino, I asked him a question to name one country. He was the head of the energy department. To name one country that got profit from cost or from oil. I texted him up 20 times and he never responded. So you gotta get people, you gotta pay them, and say, listen, come and put together a decent policy and plan in place so that Guyana can benefit. And I'm not seeing that happening here, Kemol. I'm not seeing it that it's happening here. I'm told that the government rehired Anthony Paul. That maybe is the only good thing I heard. But I'm not seeing him, I'm not hearing anything from him. I don't know what's going on. And I'm not hearing anything from this team that is headed by Sham Nokta, right? On our oil. And they are in charge and in command of our oil. They should be speaking every hour on the national television, radio, in the newspapers about what they're doing, the progress they're making. But you're not hearing anything. It's pure silence. And silence, for me, breeds nasty and corrupt business.
Let's say the government did manage the sector in the way they should have been managing it for the past 5 years. What would Guyana look like?
For the last 5 years, had they been running it the way in which it should have been, we would not have been running around begging for COVID money. We should have already had a couple billions in the bank, in our banking system. So we didn't have to be begging. We didn't have to be hustling to beg oil company to give jobs to people. They should have already had money there to lend Guyanese who want to invest in the sector to make money. The country would have been spinning, money would have been spinning in this economy by locals. Instead, the foreigners the money spending with. spinning with. And you think it's staying here? No, it's not staying here. And that's my problem. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right. So this question is on WhatsApp. This person wants to know, Derek, Glenn, will Guyana implement an oil curriculum in the school system for the benefit of the next generation?
Oh, that's a lovely question. That's a superb question. Yes. My friend from Trinidad, I met him about a month ago. He worked in the oil industry in Trinidad for about 35 years. And he was in the belly of the Trinidad oil sector. The man says, Glenn, Guyana, the first thing Guyana has to do, get going, is get your government, get your education minister to put a curriculum in the schools, beginning from nursery. The man said, you have to start teaching the children now. So 20 years from now, when they grow up, they don't have to ask mommy, why is oil? Mommy, how oil farm? Daddy, why is a rig? Daddy, why is a FPSO? No, Trinidad did that. The man said Trinidad, if you ask children in Trinidad, they understand oil and gas business. So when our children become 15, 20, 25, they must be able to understand. They must be easily get fit into every sector of the oil business, because it is our wealth, bro. It's our Kuwait. It's our Dubai. We are the richest. We are almost the richest in the world with our oil. And what? 20 years from now, we children wouldn't know anything. So this is why, a matter of fact, I'll raise this issue. I probably get you guys to do some stories on it. The oil business should have been teaching since the last 5 years in the universities too.
Glenn, do you think the politicians do you think they want to keep the people not educated of what belongs to them and what about the oil business? Do you think it's a deliberate policy of not educating the people of what belongs to them and how?
Yes, I get where you're coming from. If you want to know if they're deliberately suppressing, keeping the nation ignorant of it. Yes, because they're smart people. They are smart people, and they have been hiding, right? They have not even been coming out to face the press or to talk about what went on, what you guys did, what are the mistakes you made, how we plan to correct it. They're not saying anything. So they are deliberately, right, keeping out, thinking that this thing gonna blow up. You gonna blow over. Oh, this is a 7-day wonder. I have said that this is not even a 7 million years wonder. This can be an every second pimple in you, every single second. So if you got yourself involved, right, in wherever and however, you can't face the people, and the people know, it'll be better for you. Because the oil sector is known for corrupt, right? And they don't corrupt you one day and done with you. They corrupt you every hour. Every hour. Once they corrupt you every hour, you glad let the people remain stupid. Let them continue cut cane, plant rice, do the low-end job, and they're comfortable. You know, they're gonna spin a little change and a little change there, and hey, people are happy. Life go along. No. That ain't gonna happen under my stewardship of this media empire, not under my love for this country and its people. No, they will not get past me with it.
I have one other question for you.
Yeah.
Our leader, President Jagdeo, Vice President Jagdeo, he always says that the Kaieteur block agreement, that's already done and gone. But any other new agreement, he will get...
The Stabroek block agreement.
The Stabroek block, right. The Stabroek block agreement is already gone. Every other new agreement, he will get better conditions. Isn't ExxonMobil in charge of the Kaieteur and Kanji block? So when are we going to get this better deal?
Well, Jagdeo will have to answer himself, because They are much more. Don't run away from Exxon. Exxon is a bad deal, all right and good, but not every section of Exxon is bad. We have Exxon by the B, if you understand what a B means, so in which we can claw back. You understand? Many of the wrongs, many of the losses we got from Exxon couple wells. We can use that leverage we have in our hands to say no, to demand more from Exxon alone. So that crap, what he telling me that Exxon is a bad deal already, done, we not rotten. No, he's talking bull, if you understand what I'm saying. Now, you asked the question about if Exxon is in the other. Yes, Exxon already is in Kaieteur, already in Kaieteur, in Kanji, right? So I want him to answer how they plan to correct that. Because if Exxon is in everywhere, then how them plan to do it? I would love to hear that. I'd love to see that. And they have to answer these questions. This thing now start, you know. This thing now start, bro. I could come on this radio every day. And the things that I could talk non-stop. Right? So those are questions them got to answer. And we'll make sure that they answer it. They can't run and hide. These are things you can't run and hide at all from. Because it's in the open and it will come to shore. It will come to front every day of our lives. Because people need to know what is there for them. You understand? When you tell people that they are so filthy rich and nothing coming, the leaders better take note of that.
One thing, I would say within the next 2 years, we will go past Kuwait as the number one oil-rich country per capita.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know how the citizens of Kuwait lives. They pay no taxes, and they have their check at the end of every month.
Yes.
When we go past Kuwait, past the 70,000 barrels per capita, do you think we will get any benefit from the oil?
Well, our leaders will have to answer the question. Because if right now we are number 2, I think.
Yeah, we're number 2, 12,000 barrels.
12,000 barrels.
Per person.
Per person.
And Kuwait is 17,000.
When we meet 17, then the people will have to say, wait, these people getting a fat check a month and you ain't even getting money to buy a candy? What's going on in this land? So the politicians will have to deal with that. Not Glenn Lall.
And not only that, Kuwait only has oil. Guyana has gold, diamond, bauxite, timber, uranium, manganese, magnesium, everything Guyana has. And
Like I said, these morons or leaders that tell us, well, how much money rice gonna bring in, how much gold gonna bring in, how much timber gonna bring in. We shouldn't be looking at those things. As a matter of fact, you know what? I believe, sincerely, honestly believe, that we should not be bringing up, with the kind of oil we have here, we should leave our gold, our bauxite, our timber, and all our minerals in the land. Kick out everybody, say stop taking out these things. Leave these things for future generations. And that I will do a special program on that. Excellent. As you talk about it. Yes, but these chaps, they're so hungry and so greedy that they don't care what they do. They just don't care what they do. They just want to grab every single thing and eat it out today. They don't understand that tomorrow there's a future. There's our children's future. There are our children's future. You know? And this is what people need to understand. And guys, Guyana, you will understand. You will understand. I will make you guys understand. And I'll find people to come on the program to let you understand what they're doing. The way they're running this country is a ripoff. And a ripoff for them only.
Well,
yeah, Kemol, I'm getting worked up, man. I don't like to get worked up, you know.
Okay.
I just don't like to get worked up.
2 more questions.
Yes.
This WhatsApp contact says, Glenn, all of the profits of the major industries in Guyana have failed to significantly improve our country and our infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
With low oil prices in the market, do you see an improvement in our infrastructure in the next 5 years?
That's a high-end question. Maybe that's a politician send a question there for me to answer. All right, the COVID pandemic the entire world has suffered, Kemol. Every businesses around the world has suffered. Matter of fact, the entire Europe, England shut down a couple of days ago, shut completely, closed. So Guyana is not no different from all these countries. We are facing a terrible situation where we have to fight for daily bread. You understand? We have to fight to make ends meet. So whether the business is not making enough now as we speak, or for the next 5 years, that does not negate the fact that we must give away our resources for nothing. We must able, and at all times, I want to repeat this thing, my friend. If you have an asset, you must be properly compensated for it. A man must not come and give you next to nothing and say, well, you're hungry, you got to eat. No, we are not in that state in which we are hungry and don't have anything to survive on. We are not on our dying bed, Kemol. If you're on your dying bed and the last drop of water is going to cost Guyana, yes, you're going to say, okay, go ahead, take it. I want to live. But we are not there. As a matter of fact, Guyana is in a better state than many big nations of this land. So my answer to the guy is that we do not just give away our assets, our richly assets, for nothing or for next to nothing, bro. That's all. And give me the other question.
Mr. Lall, do you think any Guyanese can go to America and do to them what ExxonMobil is doing to Guyana now?
Oh no, my God! Oh my, that's a beautiful question. I don't think they will even get a visa to enter the U.S. Much as for your Guyanese go there and to do anything what Exxon do. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't even get a visa to go there. That's your first. So let me don't waste time. You can't go and disrespect their laws. A matter of fact, the U.S. government took ExxonMobil on more than one occasions to court and win them on corruption. The U.S. took their own ExxonMobil to court and won hundreds of millions in lawsuits. So imagine me and you. If me and you go there, if them can take ExxonMobil and win, imagine what they're going to do with me and you. So.
All right, now we've come to the last minute of our show tonight. Thank you for watching and listening to the Glenn Lall Show on Facebook and the radio. Mr. Lall, what are your final comments before we go tonight?
Kemol, I want to tell this nation, I did not come on the radio to impress. I came on this radio to express. Stop being a tenant in your own properties. You have to be the landlords, the owners. Why? Because every piece of our minerals, our oil, is our transported property. It belongs to you and it belongs to me. It does not, let me repeat, it does not belong to Mr. Ali, Mr. Jagdeo, Robert Passad, Mr. Granger, Mr. Harmon, Mr. Trotman, or Ramjatan. It does not belong to any of our leaders. It belongs to us. It does not belong to any foreigner. It belongs to me and you all. Do have a blessed evening, all of you brothers and sisters.